Welcome to our 2018 strategy workshop. But before we proceed into the program, may I call upon the Reverend Pastor Mabili to start with the leaders.
Our dear Lord, we thank you for the mission and vision of the University of Zimbabwe. We are gathered here for familiarization of our divisional operations and outlook. Help us to share our plans for 2018 and appreciate our varied and complementary operations. Bless our plans that they may transform and impact lives of the students and those beyond. Help us to support each other and to build teams and partnership. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Mabili. Right. Perhaps without much ado, we're going by our program. Our next item on the program are workshop objectives. Why are we here? Why at this time of the year, and why are we here? I'm going to spell out the objectives of this workshop. And as the pastor was giving a prayer, we actually almost ate into some of the objectives of which I am supposed to spell out. So I will actually skip a number of slides and go straight to the workshop objectives. The first objective is we have got a working document which gives us a vision, the vision of the institution, the vision of our organization. And it is necessary that we, as Student Affairs Division, are made familiar with the role of our division in view of the vision of the university. So by the end of the workshop, one take-away value of the workshop should be, the take-home value of the workshop is that you are supposed to be familiar with the role of Student Affairs Division in view of the vision of the university. Student Affairs is a very huge division, and as such, it is divided into units, 7 to be exact. And sometimes, because of the nature of the division, we tend to work as entities and forget that we actually are family. So one of the other objective, the second objective, is to give all members an overall appreciation of operations of all units in the division. So we're going to have heads of different units walking us through the operations of their division, but mainly dwelling on their vision, their mission, and the strategic thrust, what it is they dwell upon as key areas of operation in their division, in their department. And having known the operations of the different within our division, this should actually help to reinvigorate the team spirit among the members of the division. Because we work in different departments, different units, we tend to make small families within a family. And coming together at this time will help us to be able to develop that team spirit. So the third objective is to reinvigorate that team spirit. And again, we are coming towards the end of the year. And again, we are coming towards the end of the first quarter of our performance period. You remember our performance period starts from October up to the following year in September. So the first 3 months are the first quarter, October to December. We are coming towards the end of that. So we've got to now psych ourselves up for the challenges of the coming year. So the last objective is to psych up all members for the demands of the coming year in view of set targets. So if by the end, at least I expect that by the end of this workshop, a good workshop participant should have got 4 out of 4. If you get 3 out of 4, not good enough. 2 out of 4, were you here? 1 out of 4, So I think we are going to enjoy our workshop. Now, I am done with my bit of my brief. Now, may I give this chance to the Dean of Students, Dr. Madani, to give us the opening remark, to introduce the Registrar, Dr. Ntongoreni, to give us our opening remarks.
Good morning. You know, this workshop is supposed to be a very relaxed atmosphere. We were actually supposed to come here a bit dressed down without ties, just looking so free and relaxed, and with our jackets and our portfolios thrown away, just to give us the opportunity to interact freely. As alluded to earlier on by Mr. Chiganga, one of the objectives really is to get us to be under one roof after a very, very long time. I'm sure you will agree with me, some of you, most especially those that do night duty. We last met in 2008, August 2010, and we are meeting together for the first time after a very long time. And it's extremely unhealthy. We want to steer a culture where we meet more frequently, interact more frequently, cut on this silo mentality, as was said by Mr. Chiganga, where janitors, wardens, and their personnel, they just report to the accommodation office. As people in sports, they just report to sports. Counseling and advisory services, they do their thing, as if we belong to many different departments. We are one family, and as a family, from time to time, we must be seen to be sitting under one roof, learning or reading from the same page, eating together, dining together, and fellowshipping together. So one of the objectives of this meeting really is for us to get to know each other. Over a long period of time, the period that I mentioned earlier on, there are people who have left the division, and some of you get headed by grapevine, and there are others that joined the division, and you also head by grapevine, which is not right. And one of the people that we have heard by grapevine that he had come was the boss of the division, which is not appropriate. And that boss is none other than Dr. Ntongoreni, who is the registrar. We all know that we report in our structure, we report to the registrar. If I may kindly request my boss to stand up so that you see him. That's our registrar. Let's put our hands together for the registrar. That's our registrar. He has been moving from department to department, from hostel to hostel, meeting some of you. Those that have been fortunate to have encountered him as he was trying to have a feel of his turf or his territory. But as I said earlier on, some of us work at night. He normally walks during the day. So that's why you want to know some of your people come by night. And just as an appreciation of some of the people who fall under student affairs, the man you found speaking, where is he, Mr. Chiganga? He just went outside. That's the man seconding me, assisting me as acting deputy dean. And in no particular order, just from my immediate right, is the senior chaplain. You have interacted before. Senior chaplain, you can stand up. I will not be surprised for those that don't patronize the chapel, they also don't know the senior chaplain. If I introduce the senior chaplain, those that work under the senior chaplain, if you can also stand up, please, so that the registrar gets to know you. That's the team, a very lean, small team from the chapel, chaplains in the communal services department. Take your seats. And the director of sports, Mr. Chimere. Those from the sports department, if you can also stand up. That's our lean team from the sports department. Take your seats. The accommodation, Mrs. Faranza, if you can stand up first. And the bulk of the people in this house are actually, service teams from accommodation office. If you can stand up, ladies and gentlemen. That's the entire house. Doing a fantastic job. Please take your seats. If I may kindly request the chief nursing sister to come and take the front seat here. As the registrar also gets to see how healthy you are as a chief nursing sister. And that is our chief nursing sister, Sister Zadzi. Let's put our hands together. To the immediate right of our SC senior warden is our clinical psychologist, Dr. Fazana Naim. And one who works with Dr. Fazana Naim, assisting Dr. Fazana Naim. Let's put our hands together. Anyone missing? 2, 4, 5? Yes, DRC. The Disability Resource Center, Mr. Mapako. That's Mr. Mapako. He's the acting coordinator at Disability Resource Center. He said before his colleagues stood up to support him. Those from the DRC, if you could stand up as well. And when Mr. Chiganga walked in, he's also supported by people under the, these are actually people under the Dean's office. There's nothing like the Deputy Dean's office. The Deputy Dean falls under the Dean's office. This is the Dean. And those that work under the Dean's office, if you can stand up as well, so that people can see you. This is the Dean. So, register, these are your people. We are here to serve your vision. We know we are just one strand of the many units that you have. For those that are not familiar with our structures, the registrar coordinates student affairs, academic registry, human resources, central services, works, and what else there? He is a man with a full, with a huge stream, a quiver full of arsenal. But without further ado, because we are supposed to be here until exactly 12 o'clock or before 12 o'clock, we have actually had to cut some of the things that we wanted to do because there's another meeting that is supposed to take place here starting at 12. So we need to be right on point. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the registrar to come and give us his opening remarks so that we can start our workshop.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I'm surprised. I didn't know that the team is as big as this. I'm also happy to see familiar faces. Some of them, I've seen them probably 20 years ago, 20 or so years ago. Some probably because of time and also because of age. I'm also grey, you know. But I can actually see familiar faces here. Also during my time as a student. I can also see Mr. Mago. I don't know whether he's still at Manfred or he's dead.
No, I'm now in the parallel for spiritual.
Oh, okay. I've been asking. So, what it shows is that I've been part of you for a long time. So it's just a reunion. So, I would like to applaud the Dean for organizing this strategy workshop. This is actually coming out against a background of changes in the political and as well as the economic landscape. As you may be aware, we have got a strategic plan document, which we have. I hope you are all familiar with it. I also hope you are also familiar with the mission, the vision, as well as the core values of the university. I was also shocked at one point that even senior members of the university are not even aware of the core values, of the mission, of the vision of the university. The fact that you have actually said this is a strategy workshop, it means things are not normal. The word strategy actually came from the, if my memory still serves me right, it came from the Greek word stratio, meaning the art of the general. Normally, in war times, if a general is to win a war, he has to come out with a certain art, or probably a certain formula for him or her to win a war. In our case, we are also being equated to generals. We have got a strategic plan that we have there. We have got the challenges that we have as a nation that needs to be defeated, and hence the need to come out with a strategy. When you are also looking at when you are actually working on your strategy, please take into mind some of the strategic thrusts that we have as a university. There are 11 now. The first one being the postgraduate training. As the Dean of Student Department, you have got a role in the postgraduate training. Obviously, you are the ones who are going to probably to take care of the students. You are the ones who are going to give them a place to live. So you have got a role to play. So as you are working on your work plans, please try to look at that aspect. Try to fit in. Try to see where you fit in on that strategic thrust. On the issue of, there is also the second strategic thrust, that is innovative research. You have got a role to play also. It's not the academic members of staff alone, but for the students really to do their research, to do their innovation, really they need normally to be looked after. They need a conducive environment where they live for them really to be innovative. In the absence of such an environment, there won't be any innovation coming out. The third one relates to industrial attachments and entrepreneurship. Obviously, they will be seeing what you will be doing. As you prove yourself to be leaders, they can also prove themselves to be leaders. Then there's the aspect of talent management. I understand they are supervisors, they are heads of units. How are you relating with your subordinates? It's also very important. Are you going to make sure that they transfer from your department to the other, or you are going to retain others? It's also very important. The way you handle people is also very important. So as you are coming out with your 2018 work plans, take that into cognizance. Are you going to appear as a lion to your subordinates, or it is going to be something else? It is that alone, that approach alone can also make a difference. Sometimes it is very important that you train someone, that you develop someone, rather than to destroy someone. So it is my sincere hope that you are going to develop, you are also going to build other people. It would be very good to say, this young man, that man, it is I who developed it. It's my product. That's what we should all try to aim for. There's the aspect of innovation and also ICT innovation and integration. As you are also working on your work plans, look at platforms or ways where probably the issue of ITC could also play a role. The issue of where technology also could play a role. Think of technology in your day-to-day work. How are you integrating it? Maybe there is need probably for systems if they are not available. Probably try to think of systems. I know, Dean, we are battling with the issue of the issue of inter-hostel visits. It's a very topical issue, and also the wardens, I know it's a serious issue. But probably with the introduction of technology, it could be a thing of the past. What if we introduce the biometric system? A student, if he has to enter the hostels, just use the thing, it can actually make a difference. It is not going to take your job, but it is going to make your job easy. Okay. Then the issue of quality assurance. In everything that we do, let us make sure that we are also, there is quality in it. That quality assurance is actually guaranteed in all our work. Then there is the issue of social skills development in sports. Obviously, this is an area that you play a role. It's one of the university is looking upon you. It's you who actually probably play a critical role on strategic trust set. So as you are working on your work plans, think about this strategic trust. Then there's also the aspect of infrastructure development. You see the infrastructure, the existing infrastructure. You also see what the university is doing. But probably, you and me, what we need to do is, what are we doing with the existing infrastructure? How are we keeping it probably in the best that our clients probably could actually be able to see it? It's also very important. The aspect of maintenance, the aspect of cleanliness. I know you may not be playing a critical role in the maintenance part, but other departments. But your input also is also very important. Then there is also another important thrust, that is the one on wealth creation. As you may be well aware of, I think since 2013, government started rolling out, they started rolling back financial support to universities. For example, the payroll, in terms of payroll budget, there are certain positions that the university is actually funding. You may be surprised that the university is actually contributing close to $1 million, probably monthly. And per year, obviously, that's a lot of money. But where is it getting that money? It is getting that money from you. The income generating probably projects or activities that you are undertaking are the ones that are probably contributing to that. So as you are working on our strategy, for 2018, let us look at ways of generating income. As a department, probably at the end of the year, in December 2018, we say, okay, we managed to raise 2 million, 3 million. I know it could be a wish list, but I know you can do it. It's very important that we raise money. The infrastructure needs to be maintained. We need to build new structures, but we also need to find ways of getting money. government at the moment is actually not supporting the university in terms of operational costs as well as PSIP. They are not supporting. If there is any building coming out, it is the university that is contributing. So you have got a role to play to ensure that we have money. Then there is the issue of institutional efficiency and ethics. Let us look at what we are doing. Let us probably try to interrogate to see whether there is efficiency in it. Let us also look at ourselves. Are we doing the right things? If assuming probably work starts at 8, then I come at 9 or 10, and at 3 I leave the workplace. Is that morally good? Is that ethically good? Is it okay? Am I doing justice to myself? It's also very important. Would that contribute to the efficient running of the university? So let us also try to interrogate ourselves. So in coming out with our work plans, let us also take that into cognizance, that we need to be efficient in whatever we do. Let us not be proud of seeing queues. You know, banks, normally it's almost like the Zimbabwean culture. If there are no queues, someone will say, okay, and speed up us, or I'm not doing work. So a queue would be a sign that someone is doing work, but I think that is not the way to do things. We don't need to see queues. So the aspect of efficiency is very important. We need to be creative. We need to be innovative and ensure that there is efficiency in whatever we do. Assuming a student spends probably 30 minutes or 20 minutes in a queue, that's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot. If we put a cost to it, we say probably as a student, assuming you as an employee, 30 minutes is just sitting. It means probably it's $30. And what if they are 100? What if they are 1,000? Then there is also the issue of marketing as well as internationalization. That is the strategic thrust number 11, the issue of marketing. It's very important the way we relate to our customers. The students are our customers. Sometimes it is the parents. Let us try by all means to make sure that we encourage them, encourage them so that they will give us their children. If we don't handle them properly, they will make sure that probably the next child, they will send that child to MSU, they will send that child probably to Africa University or elsewhere. So the way we interact with them is very important. And another way we can actually generate revenue is increasing our student population. And the student population itself can only be increased if there is also a conducive environment, probably at university level. And it is you who plays a critical role in ensuring that the image of the university is kept. They will come and interact with you. You spend more time with the students. So, and also look forward to more challenges. The university is planning to build extra hostels. You may have probably 6,000 or 7,000 students added to the current 6,000 that is there. What are you going to do? It's also very important. So as you are planning, try to into that. Try to take that into cognizance. And above all, I would like to thank you, Jim, for organizing this workshop. As a strategic workshop, we are actually saying by the term strategic, it means we are diverting from the normal. Okay? We are actually moving from the normal. So if it is serving students, you are now saying, okay, it's now strategic serving. If it is probably for the chaplain, I don't know whether you call it strategic teaching or even in terms of counseling, it's almost like strategic counseling. You also now have new challenges in almost every facet of life, of the student life here. In sports, the VC normally says we don't want to see ourselves being associated with the high schools. Anyway, wherever we compete, we are supposed to come first, not second. So in whatever we do, we are supposed to say we are the best. So when you are serving the student or even our client, you say we are the best. This is the best in Zimbabwe. This is the best in Africa. Because remember, we want to be number 10 in Africa. We are yearning to be at least in the top 10. So whatever you are doing, we say, okay, we are doing it because we are the best. Or even the way we present ourselves, the way we dress is also very important because we are parents. And also in terms of morals, I hope you are also aware of the provisions of the Code of Conduct. In other words, we don't want chickens that feeds on their eggs. So when you get these students, they are your children. Make sure that that relationship, the parent-child relationship remains. You may say, okay, registrar, we are not the ones. Okay, fine. But I also passed through that stage. So I'm saying, please make sure that that relationship is there. You make sure that the parent-child relationship exists and be of help almost all the times. Once again, thank you.
Thank you again. Another round of applause for I don't know whether it's only me, but I think I hate my back to most of you. But I think I can safely say the 2 points in which I felt I was getting an affirmative response to the registrar's address was when he said biometric system doesn't threaten your lives. And when he went on to say some 7,000 more students and residents were saying, Shiva. Specialist in affectivity. Thank you very much. Now, back to our program. The next presentation comes from the Dean of Students and is going to walk us through a review process of 2017 and casting a vision for 2018. Looking
I think the registrar did a fantastic job in terms of creating an atmosphere, number one, and also just laying the foundation for the business of the morning. I wanted to start my presentation with an overview, a comprehensive overview of 2017. But as I said earlier on, because of time, we will not be able to do that. But just to commend you all for a job well done. I think you deserve to give yourselves a pat. I had a meeting on Monday with my head of department where I just went through highlights of things that tickled me in as far as the performance of your departments are concerned. With chaplains and ecumenical services, some of you may not be aware, but they run social skills development programs for our students, which are actually becoming a flagship, positioning us very well and positioning our students for success. And if I were to say what were the quick wins or what would be the major thing that I would tout or applause the department for, it is life skills development. And with the sports department, they continue to rule the roost in Zusa, in Stisu. This year they sent a delegation to Taipei. They also sent a team to Tunisia, having routed all other competitors in the country and in the region. These are some of the things that in our different departments we may not be aware, but our colleagues within the division continue to do amazing things. The chief nursing sister, apart from offering the services that they offer on a day-to-day basis to our students, they've refurbished their clinic. It is a new look clinic. I know some of you may not have the opportunity or the chance to visit the clinic, but the clinic is now totally refurbished. And I believe those that are working there are enjoying themselves, and our students are also enjoying themselves. And we appreciate the executive, our Vice Chancellor, for all the financial support. I'm just giving quick wins and quick items that I would say these are the things that I would be so excited about, or things that tickled me in as far as 2017 is concerned. Accommodation remains the pain in the neck for the university in terms of its shortage and also in terms of its distribution. But the accommodation office has acquitted itself extremely well. With IT coming on board, there are lots of IT glitches that we faced. Those that are in accommodation, I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. Whenever the system fails, janitors and wardens, they work around the clock to try and address the challenges that we encounter there. We have had situations sometimes where one room takes, instead of taking 2 students, it takes 4, 5, 6 students. And it is the responsibility of wardens and janitors to make sure that only the bona fide 2 people secure that room. And they have to deal with the PR exercise to make sure that those that were given the space also don't throw stones. So we continue to do the best we can under the circumstances, but we commend the accommodation office for the job well done. Counseling and advisory services department, fantastic job that they're also doing in terms of counseling and providing therapy to our students. And apart from that, one of the things that I really highlighted in the meeting that I had on Monday was the fact that our clinical psychologist is she's part-time, she's sessional, but apart from just providing a counseling and therapy services, she goes on to train our peer counselors and faculty counselors. She goes an extra mile, and her mere presence in this workshop also attests of a commitment to the vision of the Vice Chancellor and his executive. These are things that we commend. Disability Resource Center, unprecedented numbers of students with visual impairment, unprecedented numbers of students with, on wheelchairs, but they continue to manage and to mitigate and to make sure that our students have the best services possible. So in a nutshell, these are some of the things that I can really say. We are on the right track, we are on the right trajectory, and we are cruising, and we deserve to blow our own horn. Another round of applause. I recall the chairman of our council, Ambassador Motobi, saying if you can't blow your own horn, you would rather eat it. Meaning, there are times when you need to applaud yourselves for the good things that you think you are doing, and then focus on things that you think you need to improve. Let's keep on keeping on. In view of time, I've also prepared a long presentation, but in view of time, I'll try and be very, very, very brief. The first items are really obvious items, the vision, so that we really know who we are. Sorry, I've got a groggy throat. The children and sisters. We need to understand who we are. We need to understand what our role is as a division. let's have a good understanding of the meta-normative framework of our division. That when you understand your vision, your mission, your mandate, your values, it then gets you to help you to execute your strategic thrusts more appropriately. Thank you, ma'am. So our vision is to be the hub of excellence in student development, support, and success, locally and internationally. You know, just that on its own, a hub of excellence. You are a center of excellence. So when you come in, you go out, you come to work every day, know that you are a center of excellence. You know, there was a time when I was, there are times when you just take a quick run across your turf. There are times when you get into the janitor's office and you say, okay, is this excellence? You get into toilets, is this excellence? You get into the dean's office, is this excellence? And my secretary will tell you that I'm very particular. I may not be brainy, but when it comes to aesthetics, appreciation, and I that appreciate beauty, and that I'm very good. I may not be very smart intellectually, but when it comes to appreciation of good looks, I try. So excellence in everything that we do, it is very critical. Excellence in student development. Our role is to develop students, to support students, not just to develop students and to support students, but to make sure that students succeed. And when we talk about student success, it's not just student success in their academic endeavors, but it's also student success after graduation. So your thrust, your mindset must really not be restricted to, let me create an environment for them to succeed here on campus. But also look into the future to say when they leave campus. I'm sure Mr. Magu, where is he? Yes. He was proud to see one of his students here. We contribute to that. You know what I'm saying? We contribute. Now he is the registrar. And the registrar came through his hands. I'm sure when the registrar was drinking, he would say, When the registrar was womanizing, he would say, You know what I'm saying? You need to stay alive in order to be a leader tomorrow. These are the roles that we have, so never take for granted your role. Because, what you are doing now defines what's going to happen tomorrow. So your focus should really not be student success in terms of their assignments, in terms of their exams, but going into the future. And our orientation is not only a local orientation, but an international, global orientation. Which then calls us to say, if I am training, I'm nurturing someone with a global outlook, as a janitor, as a warden, as a head department, do I also personally have a global outlook? I'm sure that's food for thought, right? That's very important. In terms of our vision, our mission is to create, that's a repetition there, absence of excellence there in editing. Create an environment that fosters total and balanced development of students into mature global citizens. That is our mission. And our mandate is to run programs and activities that guarantee student success, academic excellence, and post-graduation profitability to society as employees, employers, community workers, and agenda setters. To this end, the division seeks to adopt best practices in nurturing students into responsible, full-grown adults through efficient and effective service delivery in counseling and advisory services, student health services, sport and recreation services, chaplaincy and ecumenical services, student residential services, support services for students with disabilities, life and soft skills development, chaplaincy and ecumenical services, student welfare services. That is our mandate, which back up our vision and our mission. And in terms of our values, we believe in integrity. Integrity at a staff level, and integrity, we instill integrity in our students. You can't expect students to be integrous when you don't have integrity. So we want integrity in our students. I've had issues of, problems with integrity here and there with some of us. When a dean borrows money from students and he doesn't return. For starters, just borrowing money from students, that's not right. When he then doesn't return that money, it's even worse. When the dean makes passes on students, that's not integrity. Do you get what I'm saying? So integrity begins with us. I think the three major values of the universities are knowledge, integrity, and dignity. So integrity must begin with us in our different portfolios. Community consciousness, we want our students to be community conscious. But community consciousness must also begin with us. We want a culture of service. Students that are available to serve. And as a division, we are saying we want to inculcate a culture of service in our students. But let it also begin with us. When we say, let's go into the communities and serve, yours is not to go into the community in your suit as dean or as the head of department. Put on your t-shirt, put on your shorts, put on your jeans, put on your techies, and serve with students. Not to say I'm teaching them to serve, but I'm not serving. The best way of teaching students is to lead by example. When you are exemplary, they then imitate you. When you model, they then imitate your modeling. Then diligence. Everything that we do, it must be marked with diligence. Standards of excellence and an attitude of gratitude. You know, these are some of the things that we take for granted. Attitude of gratitude. I see that many times in my office. Students that we are raising today, my generation and the generation that we're dealing with, totally different. Totally different. Someone comes to my office, you extend a scholarship, you extend something, they don't even say thank you. They just take and walk away. They think it's a right. Let's teach our students to appreciate the difference between a privilege and a right. There's nothing that comes as a right. Even if something is a right, you also appreciate the dispenser of your right. So when they come to take tissues, the starting point is with you as janitors also to say, manang, and sometimes they take it's little things they take for granted and little overtures that then makes a difference in their lives. Just that little reminder, tomorrow they will not forget. Every time I get something, even from an officer, someone who is not my mom, who is not my dad, who is not my relative, I must learn to say thank you. So an attitude of gratitude is something that we are learning as a people, and in this generation, let's try and enforce that even as a division. Best practices in student affairs. I just want to give you a quick run. Expected standards. I went on a document. I've worked with Zimbabwe Council of Higher Education. I've done manuals for their institutional registration and accreditation, institutional audits, and the times when you say, you are doing things for others out there, but back home, your people don't quite appreciate what student affairs is supposed to are supposed to have. This is just for information. The next 2 slides, it's really for information, things that we expect to be in a standard student affairs division. So that even as we think in terms of planning and working and also just talking about, I'm sure wherever we go, people also talk about student affairs. What is student affairs all about? And you just know what your business is. If you're in accommodation, student affairs is about accommodation, or student affairs is about sports, student affairs is about counseling and advisory services, student affairs is about residential services. Let's get a full appreciation. A standard student affairs department, and this is also for heads of department. What you don't have, begin to work on. The first thing that we must have is what Mr. Chiganda lifted up earlier on, is an institutional strategic plan, which speaks to holistic development of students into full-grown responsible adults. We have a strategic plan, and the Vice Chancellor and his executive, our council, they remembered us. They remembered our function. And it's strategic thrust number 7 in that strategic plan, the university-wide, is something that focuses on the total, complete development of the student. So any division and any department in the division must have an institutional strategic plan, so that you know the roadmap, you know the trajectory or the direction the institution is going. Then you must have a divisional and departmental strategic plan. I know we have a divisional plan, strategic plan, and I don't know how many amongst us know that we have a divisional strategic plan. It is there, it does exist. We worked on it when we were working on the global institutional strategic plan. And out of the divisional strategic plan, the department must actually come up with its own strategic plan. And out of that strategic plan, the department must then also come up with its own work plans. Work plans have to be born out of the strategic plan. Is this making sense? And then you must have an organogram that says, okay, fine, from the university council, you have the university executive that begins with the vice chancellor, the pro-vice chancellor, and the various other strands are on them. And where do we fit in? Some of us didn't even know our strand went through the registrar. From the registrar, we have the dean. From the dean, we then have our different departments. It is important so that we know the command, what you call it, the line, the chain of command. Then we must have divisional work plans, a divisional budget, and a resource mobilization strategy. The registrar was talking about world creation. As sports, how are you putting your head together to create wealth? As accommodation, how are you working together to create wealth? As counseling and advisory services, how are you working together to create wealth? As chaplains, how are you creating wealth? These are critical questions that you need to be asking instead of waiting for the vice chancellor to provide all right. This workshop that we are running, we were allowed by the vice chancellor to use our money, but it's not money that is coming from the institutional fiscus. It is money that we have fundraised. It is money that we have raised on our own. And I'm sure when was this? About 2-3 months ago, we had the Vice Chancellor's Awards. We ran a glamorous, beautiful event, and it was money that we raised from the corporate world, not coming from the university budget. So we need to consistently, intentionally, and continuously raise money to assist the Vice Chancellor in alleviating pressure on the limited resources. And in that endeavor, There is none amongst us who can say, I have no role to play. I was saying to my Nyanzira the other day, you know, in the context of your church, if you go to church, in the context of your burial society, if you've got some big shot, in our university, this is not what we do. Kuba vubi, babata, vubi, mukwana mvubi, alenga liko, fekwana mazisutu nuira, mukanzoba chinuwa mali. You know, Pastor, don't you know what's I may not move on, but not looking miserable and compromising your dignity, but speaking with authority, isn't it? Yeah. And then when you find such people, you then come and say, Din, and that person, I think you can talk to, you speak the same language. You can go talk to him and let's see how they can assist us. Wherever we are, it's not the role of the dean or the role of the head of department to mobilize resources. We can do so much, even at our own level. How did I get there? Okay. Where am I? Division of Standard Operating Procedures was the next item. SOP, Standard Operation Procedures. I'm going to talk about that a little later on. I have 5 minutes to run through what's left now. SOPs are very critical. SOPs are what define us. As accommodation, what is the standard operating procedure that guides us in terms of allocating accommodation, checking students into accommodation, checking out students out of accommodation? They tell us how to do the job. The person who does baking, the person who does cooking, they use standard operating procedures. How do you bake a cake? Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4. These standard operating procedures are not for heads of department, they are for us. So going into the future 2018, each and every one of us will be moving from office to office. Things that you are supposed to have, we'll be asking each other. Guys, do you know our strategic plan as an institution? Do you know our division of strategic plan? Do you know our, do you know your SOPs as a janitor, SOPs as a cleaner, as a messenger, as a head of department, as a sports technician? These are critical things. Then we are supposed to have a student handbook. We are supposed to have a student wellness policy. We are supposed to have a sexual harassment policy. These are some of these documents. We already have them in place. We are supposed to have an ordinance on student conduct and discipline. We have that. Students' Union Constitution. We have that. Code of conduct for residential services. We have that. A student advisory system. We have that. A sports council constitution. We have that. A student residence committee constitution. It is something that you need to work on. Then in terms of ideal administrative structures and services in the student affairs, in terms of the best practice, those are the obvious things. It is your dean of students, deputy dean of students, sports and recreation, student health. Just for those who don't know the structure of student affairs, counseling and advisory services, student residential services, special needs and diverse services, chaplains and the communal services. Ideally, catering and hygienic services are supposed to be under student affairs. But in the arrangement of USET, because of certain precedences, that is out of student affairs. But best practice says it is supposed to be. This is just for you to understand student affairs. Campus, culture, and student development services is supposed to have an office on its own, just like Mainyanzira is currently doing. Student aid and welfare is supposed to have an office. Graduate employment, career, and alumni services, they're supposed to be together. Research and development services, which integrate student affairs, which is an integrative quality assurance unit in the student affairs division, that is supposed to be there. In the National Students Office, in some places, you also have that under student affairs. Then in terms of quickly, in terms of our strategic thrusts, administrative efficiencies. Heads of department, this is one important thing that I would like us to capture. I would like us to, in 2018 to pay due attention to this 2016-2020 strategic plan. Whatever we do, let's read the strategic plan. All the strategic thrusts that we read by the registrar, they are relevant to us. Ours is to say, how do we fit in? How do we integrate them with our activities? And from time to time, what we want to do is to be asking ourselves questions. What is the relevance of what you are doing to the global vision of the Vice Chancellor and the global strategic plan of the institution? How are your efforts feeding into the vision of the institution? Then we need to design 2018 work plans guided by member job description. I was just challenging my colleagues in student affairs, your heads of division, heads of department, to say many times when we do work plans, we work on our work plans experientially. We are not guided by our job description. When you do your work plans, always refer to your job description. What does your job description say? There are salient things that we ignore. For example, things that are not readily disposable or workable or implementable to us. My role as Dean of Students is to raise funds, for example, and I don't know fundraising strategies, and I leave that as part of mine. My role is to do research, and I leave that as one of my mandates in the work plans. Look at your job description, look at what it says, because one day when performance appraisals are being done, you will be asked, what is the relationship between your work plans and your job description? I'm sure HR will agree with me. All job descriptions have to be tied to your work plans have to be tied to your job description. What we also need to do is to perfect standard operating procedures and attune them to the code of conduct. That is also one important thing. HR, I'm sure you will agree with me. The message that has been really coming from admin, which I've been passing to your head of department for purpose of cascading down to you, is to say your standard operating procedures must be read together with your code of conduct. Because your standard operating procedures tell you how to do the job. If you skip any procedure, you flout any procedure, it then becomes a misconduct. So what we want to do is to continuously work on our standard operating procedures, our SOPs, perfect our SOPs, fill all the gaps, familiarize ourselves with all SOPs, and then make sure that everyone in the department in 2018, first quarter, everyone knows their SOPs. I'm sure if you wanted to be very honest, we were to do a very quick survey to say, who knows their SOPs here? If all of us were to say, yes, I know my SOPs 100%, I would commend you. But I have encountered people in the division who are not familiar with some of the SOPs, and that is not right. So let's make sure that 2018, we understand our SOPs. Timeous processing of quarterly performance appraisals, avoiding a perfunctory approach. Many times we wait to be told, it's that time of the year when we are supposed to do our quarterly, first quarter. Like the first quarter now, it's October to December. Have we done our first quarter reports? We go back to the issue of excellence, effective and efficient management of our units. What we want to do going into 2018 is to make sure that we are very diligent when it comes to our quarterly reports. We are also required by the executive to submit monthly departmental reports. You find January reports invariably come in March. The information is no longer necessary or relevant. If we are saying we want January reports, the first week of February the report must have gone to the registrar's office through HR. These reports are not coming to the dean, but they're going to the VC, so that he has a full appreciation of what's happened in our division. So when your heads of department are saying, guys, you know, I want reports, I want reports, I want reports, know that it's not just them who are piling pressure on you. It is a requirement that is coming from the executive, and it's also a mark of best practices. We need to perfect events management and events reporting systems. You run an event in January and the report comes in June. That's one of the issues that the VC has also been very upset about. Most especially when you go on a tournament, it could be sports, your teams do extremely well, the media is supposed to know about it, the university community is supposed to know about it, we are supposed to come together, celebrate students, and the information doesn't come through. Let's make sure that all our events are reported on timeously. Where you need to do acquittals, for example. Acquittals, Sister Fanny, you spend money in January and your acquittals, the best has to knock on the door to say, if you don't acquit for the money that you used in January, we are now in June, we are not going to give you more money. Such inefficiencies have no space coming into 2018. So when it comes to your reports, guys, these are some of the things that I want to see in your management efficiencies. Customer perspective and quality assurance. We must all understand our client service charter. Do we know our client service charter? Do we have our client service charter? I will forgive you now, but we have a client service charter as a division. And that client service charter is not supposed to be for the files of heads of department. It is supposed to go down to us. I'm mentioning these things so that you can then go to your heads of department and demand them to say, the dean made mention of a client service charter. Where is it? We have a student charter. And this is a charter that is a document that talks about rights, privileges, duties, and obligations of students. We need to familiarize ourselves with that. And each and every one of us needs to have that copy. Personal development, 2018, refresher courses, and staff motivation. Sometimes we are not motivated simply because we don't know what we are supposed to do, or we don't know what we're expected to do. But if we perfect our art, we develop ourselves, we improve ourselves, we apply ourselves, self-actualization, when we enjoy the job, you then derive motivation and self-satisfaction out of it. I quickly designed an instrument that I pushed to us recently, where I said, can you assess yourself from on a scale of 0% to 100%, personal assessment? Can you tell me where you would put yourself? If you're 100%, if you're 50%, if you're 0%, you know. That instrument was really meant also to give me an appreciation. If we understand what we are expected to do. And my realization is, some of us don't really understand our job description. And we also don't appreciate the dean's expectations or the vice chancellor's expectations. If I say one of your roles or your duties is to mobilize resources. Fundraising is one of your responsibilities. And you tell me 100%. I've done 100%. I scored 100% for 2017. As Mabu. Let the registrar. As Mabu, I did 100%. And then I say explain. And you tell me I hired out the sports fields, I hired out the dean's boardroom, I hired out, and that's 100%. In my view, those are not the conclusive ultimate strands that can give you 100%. Your 100% must be measured in the context of your work plans. To say at the beginning of the year, what was your target in terms of fundraising? If your target was, I want to raise 100,000, and these are the revenue avenues that I'm going to use, I will then assess your revenue streams, look at your target, and see if you accomplished you reached your target. But if you just say, yes, it is 100%, because I used that facility, I used that facility, I used that facility, that then gives me an appreciation that we don't quite understand our job description. So going forward, I'll go back to the job descriptions. We go back together through our job descriptions, our personal assessments, give each other appreciations of what we are really supposed to do. So that in this new dispensation, new trajectory, we apply ourselves fully. Quality assurance, quality of service delivery survey. There is a quality service delivery survey that's done online, and it's done oblivious of your attention, or rather behind the scenes. When you mistreat or I mistreat students have the facility to go online and raise issues on the quality of service that they receive from you. So these are some of the things that you need to understand. And we need to continuously, as departments, as a division, come up with systems that measure quality satisfaction. And management by research. Most of us don't do research. But what we need to do also from time to time is to say, what are the functions of a janitor? Looking at the University of Pretoria, you Google. Google is beautiful. What are the functions of the director of sports? What are the functions of a health officer at University of Joburg? You continuously improve yourself. You are managing your services by or through research. Social, soft skills, life skills development. That's our agenda. 2018 life skills development center perspective. Let's be on the overdrive. Student affairs division unit perspective. Each and every one of us. Life skills is our agenda. Let's see how we integrate life skills. Since it's strategic thrust number 7 in the global institutional strategic plan, campus-wide perspective, in terms of the curriculum, how are we supporting the curriculum in terms of life skills? Then the corporate sector perspective, how are we bringing people from outside to come in and support us in as far as life skills development is concerned. So these are some of the quick items that I thought I should share with you so that we have a global appreciation of student affairs and our general expectations getting into 2018. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I think the dean managed the global picture of our role in view of the strategic institutional development. Now, we now want to look at these issues from a departmental perspective. Our approach in this particular case, the HODs are going to be looking at the vision of the department, the mission of the department, the mandate of the department, and lastly, the strategic thrusts of a department. So it's actually a question of unpacking the division plan into departmental, from a departmental perspective. So the first to make the presentation is, let's look at our program. Is the Chief Nursing Sister, Mrs. Muzazi. The work and started for 2018.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Like what was said before, I'm Mrs. Muzazi, Chief Nursing Sister.
Volume.
I'm Mrs. Muzazi, Chief Nursing Sister, representing Student Health Services. I will start with the staff complement. We are 11 in the department. That includes the Chief Nursing Sister. We have 2 sessional doctors, 4 nurses, and also our supporting members of staff. We've got counselors, secretary, and clerk and messenger in our department. Let me just run through the services which we provide in the department. Just to summarize, actually we do quite a lot as far as the services are concerned. We diagnose and treat minor ailments. We treat sexual transmitted infection. We offer HIV testing, counseling, and also comments clients on antiretroviral drugs. These services are for free, the HIV testing and even issuing of drugs. We also provide condoms. I'm going to talk about the preventative services. Those are for prevention particularly. Family planning services, they are also available. We do some awareness campaigns and sensitization meetings, counseling, vaccination. We have got a peer education program as well, which we are running. That includes training and also information dissemination amongst the students. And we also have the ambulance services and referral system, which is actually defined. Then we go to the mission, vision, and goal. Our vision is to be a student health service that satisfies the needs and expectations of the present and future students of the University of Zimbabwe. Therefore, we need to keep on refining our package so that it's comprehensive and so that it meets the requirements or the needs of our students. Actually, on that one, we are looking after a very sensitive and a unique population. You know, the young people, they have their challenges, which they are facing as far as health is concerned. They are growing up, and they also lack some information. For example, in sexual and reproductive health, this is actually affected by other issues. For example, the cultural aspect, and they are coming from different communities. And actually, in our culture, sometimes sharing of sexual reproductive information is a taboo in some aspects. But as they grow, they actually need that information. And Also, this unique group, they consider themselves at lower risk. When you talk about the provision of condoms, I am sure you've seen people debating, should we offer the condoms and the contraceptives? Most people, they say their mandate is to learn, but they are growing up at this age at tertiary institution. They face challenges in accessing, also having information on sexual reproductive health information. Then our mission, we strive to provide comprehensive, high-quality healthcare services. For our goal, the department aims to offer a comprehensive health service to the students so that they graduate alive. And our health services are promotive, preventative, and curative as well. Objectives for our strategy. The objectives are to improve access so that it's efficient and effective service delivery, to increase availability, access and utilization of the health services. Like I've already mentioned, that they should know the package which is available, they should have access to the information so that they can utilize. There's no way they are going to utilize the services if they don't know that if they are not aware of the package which is available. Then number 3, to create an enabling environment. We talk of youth friendliness. These young people, they just want to get services from service providers who are friendly. Everybody in the department, it means they have to be friendly so that they can access services. If you are judgmental, and maybe if the environment is not conducive, they cannot come. They are very sensitive, even when you look at the aspect of privacy and confidentiality. Sometimes that's why we are discouraging even members of staff to come and seek services. Because, like the dean has just said, we are parents, and sometimes we tend to be judgmental. And we have witnessed it when the members of staff are visiting, when the students are picking just condoms, we tend to be judgmental and say, why are they doing that? And yet they are young people. Yes, they are young, but they are level. They should access sexual reproductive health services. To create and have a sustainable, to have sustainable partnership. Already it has been alluded that we need to resource mobilize and we have to network with our partners so that we take from their implementation strategies. They can also provide resources, and we have witnessed quite a great improvement as we get also support from our partners. But as an institution, we should also support our partners like National AIDS Council. I already mentioned that we are offering HIV services. And we cannot work in isolation. We have to work with the systems available within our community, within our government. 5, to increase knowledge on health issues among the students. They need support. They need to have that information so that even for sexual reproductive health, they practice safer sex so that they graduate alive. If we don't give them the information, then they rely on some misconception and somehow they are misled and you can lose them once they aim to graduate. Our strategy plan, strategy 1, improve access and utilization of students' health services. The main activities to conduct awareness campaigns and sensitization meetings. Since I've got limited time, I'm not going to clarify a lot on that one, but as we develop our work plan, we will make it clear. Orientation of the new students on the available services. They need to know when the clinic is, how to access, and the package which is actually available. And then that will actually help in increasing the uptake of the health services. If we just talk about the services and make them available, and when the students do not access them, it doesn't work. Strategy 2, create an enabling environment. Already it is mentioned. The young people actually, scientific evidence has shown that they need an environment which is actually conducive. Already I've mentioned about private and confidentiality. Even the the environment should be appealing so that they can come and access services. They don't want people, even coming from the service providers, they should be youth-friendly so that they can come for counseling session and access those services. If they are reassured that everything will be private and confidential, then they can access the services. Also, from our strategy, we are going to conduct phase 2 clinic upgrading so that it's appealing and if the equipment is up to standard and meet the requirements of the current students and future. Renewal of registered practitioners and practice certificate, also renewal of premises certificates. That one is a regulatory requirement which we should actually focus and meeting before we even think of the package. We have to be authorized to support, to provide those services. Then strengthen the supply chain for the services to be of good quality. It doesn't work well for us to talk about the package and what we wish to provide. And when the students come to access the services, they are told, today we don't have a counselor, today we've got a shortage of this drug and so forth. It becomes boring and sometimes they lose even hope in accessing those services. So our activity will be to do some focus on what we want to procure for 2018, and also we will procure up to standard commodities and sundries, including equipment, and even the storage should be up to standard, and the dispensing of the medication using the regulatory procedures, and that will improve the access. And also we aim to reduce the stock outlets for those commodities. We should minimize the referral because the mandate of the students actually is to learn. But now if we keep on referring them, there's a time lost in that process. Our fourth strategy, demand creation. Through awareness, I've said it before, that if we have got a defined package, then if we don't create demand, we want our students to access the services, then these awareness campaigns will inform the students about the services which are available, how they access, even the registration for them to be able to access, for example, CMAS registration procedures. Also, we can create demand by doing the orientation of the students, and also we can use demand creation material, or some call it IEC material, so that it's not everything which we are going to talk about, but we can actually issue some demand creation material so that they can read and understand, and also refer. For example, we have developed this pamphlet, the flyer, which we distribute to the students as they seek services. And also during the orientation, we provide this. It comprises even the the procedure for accessing the services, and also the package which is available, CMAS registration, the staff which is available, and operating hours. And that is also going to increase access to health services. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. I end this slide.
We from sports, we believe in wellness, we believe in exercise, we believe in the wholesome of a person. So while we are waiting for it to start, oh fine, that's okay. I kindly request you to stand up. Please, just stand up. I want you to reach as higher as possible on your toes. Let's go. Touching the roof. Okay. And they put. Now, take Right, ladies and gentlemen, I will take you through sports and recreation. Recreation Department, which is an arm of Student Affairs Division. My name is Chemere. As you can see there, I'm the director. Below me is the assistant director, Mr. Libatmeister. He's not with us. And we also have the senior technical assistant, Elijah Tapatapa, with a wealth of experience of 35 years. We have got Mrs. Mfurusa with qualifications, BA Adult Education, Diploma Adult Education, Certificates, Secretariat in Public Relations. We also have an office manager, I'm going to BSc Psychology and Certificates Secretariat in Public Relations. Then we have got Satambara, 25 years of experience within the institution. Then we have got Mr. Bunu with a diploma in security. So we are very safe when it comes to security. And 28 years of experience. That's a bit about the department. An overview of the department. Sports and Recreation Department is a service center for wellness, recreation, and competitive sport. So we don't just concentrate on competitive sport, but we also focus on wellness. We also focus on recreation. Our team, we provide opportunities for fitness and sporting activities from beginners to elite. So you can start from scratch to the highest level. We are committed to helping students, staff, and wider university community of all abilities. Okay? Helping to combine active mind with an active body. And to that end, we positively promote health lifestyle through a wide range of sporting activities and also promote competitiveness. The vision first, as a department, we want to be recognized as a leader, not only a sport provision arm, but a leader in sports and recreational services in the region. When we are talking of the region, we are talking of in the SADC region. When people talk of sport and recreation, we want to be the referral point to say, go to the University of Zimbabwe in the SADC region and you see how sport and recreation is run. Then the mission, technology sometimes can all right. To provide high quality sport and recreation programs, facilities and services to the university community, which encourages health lifestyle, guide and develop student leadership skills, foster cooperative behavior, and champion elite athletes. We also have a role to play when it comes to your life skills, your soft skills as a department. That's our mission. Our core values, we strive for excellence. I think we are in tandem with the Dean of Students. Fair play, teamwork. We strive for continuous improvement, the Kaizen effect, gradual, continuous improvement. We also are open, we strive for open participation. All people, gender, from different backgrounds, they can come and participate. Our key success factors for us to achieve our objective, these are the enabling conditions or the key success factors. We believe there should be research and innovation. We believe there must be adequate funding. We believe in motivated athletes, and we will engage Fazan, as a psychologist, to make sure that the athletes are psychologically prepared. We also believe that adequate facilities and equipment, favorable brand image. We want to make sure that we are an acceptable brand within the university arm, so that when it comes to issues pertaining to corporate sponsorship, they can believe in us. We also believe in superior technical skills vis-a-vis our coaches and the department members. We also believe that efficient information communication system and sound relations is very key to achieving our objectives. Our thrust: we endeavor to increase revenue streams for the department by 20% annually. As we speak, I think our revenue collection, which is mainly from sports levy, is about 160. 20% of that would translate to about 30 to 40,000 annually. And hopefully, if we continue that pace, then there will be a time when we have probably about 100,000 per year. Manage sports and recreation department in a cost-effective and efficient manner. Then provide customer-oriented recreation and wellness program. More often than not, you prescribe to people what they don't want. So we have to go back to the customers, to the clients, so that we get together. Then establish and maintain state-of-the-art sport and recreation facilities that engender learning experience. And lastly, nurturing athletes to compete at highest level. Number one, how are we going to achieve the 20%? Obviously, we want to make sure that, he's talking of 2 minutes, minus 1 minute. We want to make sure that we engage corporate sponsorship. I think this is the major source of income that we want to engage ourselves into. Then that one is for lobbying, if possible, reviewing sports levy from 15 to 15 from $10. Why? Because our strategic thrust is to probably build state-of-the-art facilities and have probably college bus. So in view of that, we are lobbying for slight increase. Tighten provision for hiring of facilities to ensure that we collect as much as possible. Develop sustainable fundraising program. We have got the advertising guys and probably selling of players. Hopefully with our players that are in Division 1, if we sell one player for about 15,000 to 20,000, then we'll make a mark. Manage sports and recreation in a cost-effective manner. We want to improve our internal communication system, do it right first time. That's the motto. No room for error, and that's what we want. Which is ongoing. Draft and operationalize a sports and operational procedures manual by February. Introduce performance-based management to the coaches. If you don't perform, you lose your job. Then also, because of the background where students, sometimes if you come to sport, you may not want to bring your kids and your family. For people who sing obscene language, vulgarism, we also thought formation of sports supporters club would be very key for us to make sure that people come and enjoy spectatorship of the club. Incorporate life skills. We also want to collaborate with academics to organize conferences focusing on topical issues on university sport. Then lastly, we endeavor to benchmark our systems with the best in the region. To provide customer-oriented recreational wellness, increase our wellness activity by 5%, expand on intramural activities. We want to ensure that people access safe environment to all students and staff, inspiring a healthy and active lifestyle, which is ongoing. Then the second last is to ensure that all recreational facilities are at a very good functional state and enjoyable stays at any given time. And lastly, we endeavor to make sure that annually we conduct annual peer and student surveys to identify what students require. Right?
You are in arrears.
Allow me to borrow on the header. To establish and maintain state-of-the-art recreational facilities that engender learning experience, our hope is to have one indoor facility by 2020, but to start now. Then spearhead development of a 9-hole golf course on campus. Develop a cricket field by December next year. Construct 4 all-weather courts by December next year. Renovate the gym and squash to world-class level, and maintain sport and recreation facilities in a neat and functional state. To nurture, this is the last, to nurture athletes to compete at highest level. We hope we are going to win all what we have put on there to win. ZUSA, TISU, Zone 6, PUXA, and African Championship. Then 60% of our team must be in top 5 annually and produce at least 6 players that feed into the national teams. And also develop a high performance center framework as a planning phase. How do we do that? Scouting talent, lobbying for relaxation of entry qualification to the university. We have got highly talented people out there, but they may not have the, the qualifications to be here. So we'll be lobbying with the university executive, and also reward athletes, 5 scholarships per semester, hiring and retain coaches, and probably give them some competitive salaries if possible, then upgrade them. Also for high performance, we believe in sharing, so visiting others will do. This is what sports offers, in case you didn't know, all that and many more. Some of the leagues that we take part in, some of the collegiate games, the universities, the tertiary institutions, Zone 6, Africa, and World University Student Games. The courts, you may come enjoy, swimming pool. Those who have been to the swimming pool, you are also allowed to come and make sure that we share experience. General purpose, thank you so much.
Here with sports people, they are used to getting injuries. All the time is dangerous. But may I impress upon people to presenters, please, to strictly limit yourself to your vision, your mission, your mandate, and strategic goals. Just a snapshot of this. Thank you. The next presenter is Student Residential Services, Amai Baraza.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mrs. Baraza, the Student Residential Services Department, and I'm the acting senior warden. Doubling up as I'm the warden, doubling up as the acting senior warden. I'm warden NC4. He didn't borrow my time. He stole the time. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the name itself. Dean, I would like to thank you for changing the name from accommodation office to student residential services, because that name almost rendered as irrelevant. Because accommodation, people will think it's only about allocating rooms in the office, checking in students at the hostel, and checking out students. and people would want to know what exactly will you be doing from the time you checked in the student until at the time you checked out the student. People would think you'll be seated, not doing anything. Yet we've got a lot that is going on behind the scenes with the vibrant team of the janitors and the wardens. Okay. I'm going to talk about our vision. It is to be a leading center for student psychosocial development. I think it's in line with the vision for our strategic plan, which requires us to develop students socially, the skills and everything. Then I'll go to the mission to provide excellent student residential services and support. That is our main job, to provide student residential services. But this time we have to do it excellently. I think the Dean has also talked about excellence. Values to that integrity. We extracted our values from the values for the divisional work plan. There's integrity. I think the Dean has talked about that. Standard of excellence wherever we are, whether it's accommodation office or in our offices at the hostels. Excellence should be practiced. Transparency, especially at accommodation office. We really need to be very transparent, or else you end up behind bars. Because if you are not, there are temptations, there are lots of things that go on. Just last semester, where the court giving the procedures on how we give students accommodation. It was because something would have gone on behind our backs. So we really need to be transparent. Then community consciousness and culture of services that has been talked about. Sensitivity of uniqueness of personality and their special needs. We receive students with different personalities, some from different countries, and we really need to accommodate them and accommodate their personalities and their special needs. And others from DRC, we really need to accommodate them. Our goals, it is to provide a user-friendly accommodation application and allocation system. There we just have to be up to our toes, because if we don't provide a user-friendly accommodation application, that's when you hear people saying we're selling accommodation one, or there are ways who start with accommodation. To develop in students a spirit of compassion for the need in society, we have activities that we do to develop the spirit of compassion. To develop an appreciation of sport for both competition and recreation, we'll be taking Mr. Chebere's job partly just to keep our students in residence occupied. To develop in students an appreciation of the importance of the environmental awareness. I think that is a problem around at hostels and around the campus. Our students are not really environmental, what should I say, friend or what? Because they throw litter all over. They don't even care. That's why we have some activities at hostel level. In the morning, most hostels will move around picking litter, so that at least we instill in them that responsibility, that they become responsible. To develop in students important soft skills for social integration. What I understand by soft skills are those skills that we need in life. Communication skills, the students, when they're at residence, they are almost at home. So they have to have those skills that they will use in life, not really the job-related skills. To promote health lifestyle through awareness programs and activities. I think our students are not really, I can't say they really don't care about their lifestyle, because we are having a lot of issues about drug abuse. People are sick at residence, and later we realize they will have STIs or anything, but it's not something to say, but that is what is happening. So to promote health lifestyle through awareness, that is one of our goals. Campus life committees. So to achieve our goals, we've got trusts that we have. And on every trust, we attached a warden, a janitor. Some of them are not related there because we didn't have enough space to. The committee, we have a committee there, campus life committee structure. We have a senior warden, acting senior warden. Then the chairperson of campus life is Mr. Machanja, who oversees how all the activities are run. And he's also the head of the sports and recreation. That's, I played this. Then we go on to the other thrust, soft skill development, with Mr. Chiganga and Mrs. Tole. Health and wellness with Mrs. Mpupuni. Then aesthetic and landscaping with Ms. Kunagakuchigiwa. Then the treasurer, who is doubling up as the entrepreneurship. Who is doubling up with entrepreneurship is Mr. Gorejena. Then community engagement with Mrs. Munesi. We have a lot of activities that goes with these thrusts. For example, soft skills development. We call people, motivational speakers, to come and talk to our students, training them some leadership skills, especially if you look at the work permit, they need leadership skills before they get into before they practice they use their posts or they work with students in the hostels. Then on health and wellness, that's where Ms. Mpupun is. She comes up with activities like health and wellness week, where she brings out people, doctors, to talk to students about their health. Aesthetic and landscaping, Ms. Munaga, she also comes up with activities like anti-litter campaigns, some activities like at hostel level, the blue collar hour, where students pick litter around their hostels. Then the treasurer, who is Mr. Gore, entrepreneurship, you also come with other activities to train our students how to raise money, how to fundraise for the hostels, and how to use the money at hostel level. Then the community engagement, that's Mrs. Munesi. Most of the time, we gather resources, we get clothes from different people. She sources, in fact. Then we get some cash from our tuck shops, and we visit all people's homes, we visit orphanages, and we donate what we have sourced. I think I'll end here because I was excited not to call. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have had an insight on the activities of student residential services. It's not just about checking in and checking out. There's a lot which happens in between, and she's tried to emphasize that. Right. The next is counseling and advisory services, and presenting is Dr. Fazana.
Good morning.
You can have a seat.
My name is Fazana and I'm a sessional clinical psychologist.
Volume.
Volume, okay. I would like to share my 2018 strategic plan. Our vision: to be leading hope dispensing department through the provision of free, effective and confidential counseling and advisory services to all students and staff members. As you know, I am at students affairs, but I do interact with staff members while they are having some emotional issues or psychological issues, so I deal with students and staff members both. Mission: delivers the highest quality counseling and mental health support and care, specializing in meeting needs of students, faculty and staff. Protects the campus community by minimizing the impact of emotional distress and promotes positive mental health and well-being. Values: client service, confidentiality, integrity, honesty, tolerance and hope. Our services are free of charge. If you see students who need counseling, you are supposed to refer. Sometimes we get referrals from vice chancellors, from faculties, from teaching staff. We offer support to students dealing with learning stress. Sometimes some students can be stressed before exam. They can develop anxiety about their exams. We also provide grave mental challenges which compromise their academic advancements. Training for faculty counselors and peer counselors. promoting and supporting mental health and well-being with reap tremendous rewards, including a more positive work and learning environment, improved performance and productivity, enhanced student experience with greater emotional support. In 2017, these are the top 5 disorders. What was observed while we was doing counseling with the students: substance abuse, depression, stress-related disorders, relationship issues, and time management. Unfortunately, substance abuse, 60% of the cases who reported to the counseling office was directly or indirectly involved substance abuse. I would not say that it was only common in the campus. It's worldwide that substance abuse is now very common. Even we see the number of patients increase in Zimbabwe. 10% was depression, stress-related disorders 10%, relationship issues 10%, and time management 10%. But the leading cause was the substance abuse, the students who came for counseling. Since substance abuse related disorders are increasing in Zimbabwe, as well as at campus as well, so I just thought to have awareness programs in each faculty where we can give more awareness about substance abuse. So target will be students because they need support on that. Time frame, maybe one awareness program each term for each faculty before they start their term. The second goal, we was having 3 peer counseling training in 2017, and what I observed that there were so many students volunteer, but they was physically present, but mentally they was not really present. Some of them, they was just coming for maybe sake of certificate, that we will be getting their certificate. So since some people was not really engaged in counseling and they was not very actively, students were participating. So maybe brief exam after each workshop for the students. Training will have 3 levels. In each term, students will have 1 workshop, and they are supposed to give small, exam after that workshop, that how eligible they are after attending. Peer counselors are supposed to attend all 3 workshops and pass exam before getting their certificate from the Department of Counseling and Advisory Services. It will be for students, time frame 1 training each term. So in 1 year they will have their complete peer counseling training. There is no health without mental health. I'm sure everyone agree.
Next is the Disability Resource Center, and the presentation is by Mr. Mapako. Mr. Mapako say, I will... He's threatening me.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think mine is going to be the shortest of all the presentations. Disability Resource Center, oftenly known as DRC, not for Democratic Republic of Congo, but the Disability Resource Center. We are a very small department with a complement of 4 staff members, a secretary, 2 braillists, an active coordinator, which is myself. Right. So the center, in collaboration with the other faculty and the departments, is committed to promoting the best practice throughout the university and to continually develop the provision of support for students with disabilities. This provision will enable the university to meet its legal obligation to those students with disabilities as enshrined in our constitution. At this level, it also entails that the teaching strategies which are effective for students with disabilities are
are also incorporated into the lecturers who continuously join our community as a university. And the term special needs itself won't be very much helpful unless the requirements for students with disabilities are met. So access, in short, remains the core business of the center. In the department, we have got about 7 students who are on wheelchairs, and these students usually they find it very difficult to access their learning venues because of the infrastructure, which was of course understandably built long way back before the statutory instruments which govern all new buildings to be accessible to students with disabilities was enacted. So as a department, we continuously lobby for the accessibility of such students through our executive and through the dean of students, so that our students can also access their learning venues instead of just taking notes from their colleagues. Our role as a department is to facilitate equal access to university classes, the programs and the activities which are done by all the students with the disabilities. We are also mandated to assess the our center. It also serves as a resource center not only for the students but even the staff members within our university communities with the disabilities. So while the institution is committed to access and the inclusion, it is not possible to anticipate all barriers that might exist for individuals with disabilities. So as a center, we are mandated to work with the students through an interactive process to determine their disability and hear requests for reasonable accommodations. The vision of the department is to strive to provide appropriate and user-friendly facilities and services and equipment for students with disabilities. And our mission is to enable full inclusion in the realization of students with disabilities and conditions. The center is prepared to help any student with the documentation from appropriate professionals. Thus, the department will also assist the students with the temporary confirmed disabilities such as fractures for a specific period. Our values, in line with the values of the division and the institution, we cherish integrity, diligence, productivity, teamwork, equal opportunities, self-confidence, and inclusive education. Then we have this rather thorny issue about examination accommodations. As a strategy of the department, we have thought that this time around we are going to have prescribed times for our students. Disabilities are so different and varied. We have the visually impaired, those with albinism, the others are physically challenged. So when it comes to an examination writing, these students, of course, like the best practices all over the world, they are given extra time. But the extra time cannot be uniform across the board. Those who are visually impaired are supposed to be given, say, 25% of the time of the examination. And then the physically challenged, especially the ones who have strokes or cerebral palsy, we understand that they cannot write their examinations in the same pace with those that are, say, partially sighted. So we can also allocate them the time like 30%, and the ones who are really severely disabled and the students who are newly disabled, say you become visually impaired when a student becomes visually impaired when the student was in his upper sixth, form 6 A level, and then the following year the same student got a place at this institution. So that student, what it means is that the student won't have mastered enough braille skills, enough mobility and orientation, and most likely the student will be in a denial stage. So that kind of student, when it comes to examination writing, will obviously need to be afforded a bit of more of the extra time, say 50% or even to 100%. In this way, the department will be able to operate more effectively and perhaps enable the student to complete the exam in time. We also hope that through the guidance of the Dean of Students, the department is going to be afforded some time to visit perhaps our local DRCs of other institutions and also international DRCs. For instance, in Stellenbosch of late recently, a Stellenbosch graduate invented a software which is able to translate the braille into print. So this will actually be a plus to the university because it is going to save money by not being bothered that we are always understaffed. Because that can be done by 1 or 2 students within the department. Instead of taking a lot of time transcribing those braille papers, the software is able to translate the braille copies into print. That will save a lot of time. We also hope to train students with disabilities in their various sporting activities with the support of Mr. Chemere, but of course the technocrats in as far as the training of students with disabilities in sports is concerned, they are found within the DRC department. Thank you.
I'm Pastor Mabwidi. I'm the senior chaplain of the University of Zimbabwe. I'm here to present our strategic trust for 2018. We are a team of 3 in our department. We have the secretary and the messenger cleaner. That's our team. But before I go into this presentation, there is an appreciation and understanding by the institution that the human being is not just a mind. The human being is made up of the mind, the physical body, the spiritual aspect, and so forth. So the university is addressing the mind, and they need a complement on the other 3 parts of the human being. They provide you with academic gymnastics and so forth. But they also realize that you are a social being, and you are a spiritual being, you are a moral being. And that's our department. We have the greater chunk to address. So, our vision as a department is to be a God-fearing community that upholds love, peace, and integrity. We can be political, we can be marriage, we can be business, we can be in any aspect of life or sector of life, minus God-fearing, minus love, minus peace, minus integrity. It's futile. So we need God to fear God first and love His people and be peaceful and be integral in order to achieve whatever we want to do in politics or in family or in business and so forth. So we look forward to a situation where the graduates or products of this university will be a loving community, a peaceful community, people with integrity in whatever they are going to do after graduation or during their time. So that's our vision. Our mission is to support the vocation of the University of Zimbabwe by integrating professional life with moral and religious truth. So our mission is to support the University of Zimbabwe. Like I have said, the human being is made up of 4 components also. Our part, we are sent to bring some moral values, to bring some religious truth into the lives of the students and staff. That's our mission. Our values, we cherish truthfulness. We need to be true to ourselves, true to our neighbors, true to our organizations where we are going to work, true to God. It's important. We need sincerity, trustworthiness, and honesty. We need to be accountable, and there's a religious department. We need to be accountable to God. There is a vertical accountability, and there's also a horizontal accountability to people around us, to our peers. We need to be accountable to our peers, and we need to be accountable to people who are at the bottom, our subordinates and so forth. We need to be accountable to everyone. Accountability is very important. And responsibility. We look forward to people who are responsible citizens, who can be responsible in their societies, even in their families. It's important to be responsible. And righteousness is critical. We need upright people. And tolerance, it's very important. In our department, we don't have a super church or a super religious group. We are an ecumenical society which understands that people have different backgrounds in their political life, in their religious life, in their family backgrounds. They are just different. We need to tolerate people and understand that we are diverse in nature, and even in religion. We are diverse. In politics, we are diverse. So we want to cherish tolerance. It's very important in our values. Our mandate is to merge vocational life with the religious and moral life. Our mandate as a chaplain department, number 1 is to register religious fellowships. It's important to register them here. We vet them, we get the requirements which are supposed to be met, so that we don't just register any church here. We need to know who they are. Some are called churches, but they are not representing God. And so forth. And our other mandate is to provide free counseling, to pray for the sick. And like I have said, the human being is also a physical body. In our department, we don't give medication, we pray. It's our mandate to bury the dead. We also have that mandate, and we have a mandate to work with every department and faculty here, provide moral and religious, and spiritual aspects into their lives. So our mandate is big. Our goals is to offer, number one is to offer relevant pastoral care for spiritual, moral, and mental development to the university community. In that goal, we provide evangelistic programs, we run revivals, we run ecumenical services. Like I said, we pray for the sick, we counsel people with varied challenges and so forth. Number two, to foster, instill and engage university community to social deed on campus and outside. We also realize that they are underprivileged students. We need to support them. They are underprivileged people out there in children's homes, in old people's homes and so forth. It's important to inculcate in students the need to be responsible to those people. Number three, to invigorate holistic life skills development programs on campus. This is more to do with life skills development, mentoring programs on leadership, on family life, on business, entrepreneurship, and so forth. And number four, to revitalize networking with Christian organizations and corporate sector for human and material resources. We believe that we are not insulated. We need partners out there to work with that, to support us with human resources, people who would come to teach, people who would come to coach our students in our mentoring programs, and we also need their financial support and any other material support we may need. And our last goal is to refurbish the chapel facilities and fundraise for the new chapel project. We believe that we need to live in a habitable environment. So it's important to always look at our surroundings and improve, and to increase our sitting capacity by building a new building. Thank you.
There's a very thin line between incitation and preaching. So when the preacher in the house, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This was our last presentation from the units which make up Student Affairs Division. May I call upon the Dean of Students to take the next slot for rounding up all our discussions and then giving us closing remarks.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there we are. We were actually supposed to have the Vice Chancellor come and close our workshop, but unfortunately, we had another meeting at Greenchair, and at 2 o'clock we will be coming in here to facilitate a task force, the workshop for Vice Chancellor, so he could not be with us. But it is my fervent hope that this meeting was more of a know your division workshop. It has given you a full appreciation of what student affairs is all about. That's number one. And it has also given you an appreciation of what your department is up to. Come 2018, if you were not involved in the process of designing work plans for 2018, now the task that is ahead of us is to go back to the drawing board. This was really an appreciation. We want to go back to the drawing board think through what was said here in the context of the institutional strategic plan, divisional strategic plan, divisional strategic thrusts, what others are doing, and then also what you really think you need to do in order to showcase your unit or your department as we get into 2018. So the job begins here, and I think the trajectory, the direction has been set. But I think it will be grossly unfair to close the meeting without giving ourselves maybe 5 to 10 minutes, because we are a bit ahead of our time. Give ourselves a bit of, time and opportunity for, it could be questions, it could be thoughts that are from the floor to say, yes, you have spoken as Dean, you have given us your direction as the head of the division. But what would you think, or if we did A, B, C, D, or I suggest we would do A, B, C, D. If there's any area where you need the clarification, this is also the opportunity. So that when we go out there, you would not say, oh, we really never have the opportunity to make contributions in how the division is run, how the department runs, or how the unit runs. So this is the opportunity. Any burning issues from among us, any contributions that you would like to make? Yes, Mr.
Thank you, sir. In my presentation, I raised an issue which I think would apply to every department within the Student Affairs Division. That is it possible for the different departments within the Student Affairs to be afforded a chance to learn how others are doing the same things that we are doing? Say by way of, I know in the academic section they usually take sabbatical concept and something like that. But for us really to be a world-class university and to be proud of our services, we need also to have some hands-on approach on how other departments in different institutions are doing the same things. How feasible is it that our departments can be afforded the same chance or time once in a while?
I think that is noted. I see mine that is taking notes in terms of our contributions. That's noted. But I think one of the drawbacks or inhibitions, it's really an issue of resources. But that's noted. We will capture that and push it forward. Any other contributions? As I said earlier on, I think this atmosphere must really be relaxed, let's loosen up. We are going to have lunch, courtesy of the Vice Chancellor, and Mr. Chinyere is out right now because we're also trying to set up a disco. Where we want to see, all the crews, all the staff. So let's begin to loosen up and really and be free to speak our minds and see how best we can feed into the division that we want, the department that we want, the institution that we want. Ownership is the way to go. It is not Madambi's division. It is not Muzaki's department. It's not Parada's department. It is our division. It is our department. And together with your input, we can make it what we want. Let's make it what we want, and this is the opportunity, Mr. Sipa.
Such kind of gathering was last done, I think, 2008. But I don't think I remember going to this kind of gathering. So now up to the school, sometimes to organize some of this gathering. 32 ndakutenda kuti chokwadi inini zvandivhurawo maziso kuti vazhinji vanondiziva nenyaya yekuti ndinofamba neambulensi, asi pana vamwe vatosenza navo mudivision vatasingazivi. Saka zvakanaka kuti tiunganisa tichidzidziswa maererano nemasenzo atofanira kuita. Ndabata chinhu 1 zvakanangana kudepartment kwedu kuti aigas tinotokwanisa kucoordinate nesports, neaccommodation, nedisability, nechapel. Ndingapa muenzaniso kuti kwedu kunoitwa basa rokurapa varwere, asi ndazonzwa baba vozomweya vachitaura ivo isusu tatumira mwana kuhospitari vanokwanisa kuenda kunorapavo, vanonamatira murwere. Ndikazobata zvekuti tinofanira kubata pamwe chete nedisability nezvavanoda pamwe chete neaccommodation. Ndambonzwa mai Paraza vachitaura naye kuti kugara kwevana, especially allocation yedzimba. Takatarisa kwedu ndatoona kuti zvakakodzera kuti warden anoziva kuti akaudzwa nachief nursing sister kuti mwana ane condition yakada haangazopuwi imba iri ku4th floor. Saka zvinhu zvinotozotibatsira kuserenza pamwe chete. Ndinotenda chaizvo.
Just so that Fazana is part of the conversation, what he was saying, the worst presentation was from counseling in Atlanta. I think what is critical is really that we are a network of services, but under one umbrella. And I think what Mr. Sipa is really trying just to emphasize and wrap in is that we must facilitate ease of business. Let's understand each other. Let's complement each other. Let's not compete, but complement. Accommodation, complement student health, complement accommodation, counseling and advisory services. We are a network of service providers who must just gel. Sometimes, unfortunately, silo mentality, number 1, and number 2, frustrating each other and inhibiting progress when we are under the same roof. I think that was definitely the message that Mr. Sipa was. I saw a hand up. Okay. Yes.
I wanted to support Mr. Chemere's suggestion.
The disco, I
think the busting, he said something about maybe procuring a bus for the division. I think I've got a few months in the office and I've realized that we really, as a division, is not a problem in terms of transport. There are times when we send in memos saying to the Vice Chancellors requesting for transport, and as we send them, we realize that I think we've taken all buses from the university, and the staff doesn't have buses to ferry them. So as a division, if we can work together, all the departments, try to raise something towards getting our own, maybe through the deal we plead with the people above us to say, push for funds to just get a bus for the division. At least that would really help us.
Okay. Good point. Madam Yanzira, these are some of the new brooms that, new people that we have not seen. Manyanzira, if you can stand up, very new to the division. Replacing Mr. Nyamchodongora. My PA, also new to the division. Maybe Mrs. Shangwa, also new to the division. The sister, we have already seen her, also new to the division. And who else? Makanga new chief. Yes, ma'am. These are people that we meet, we don't know each other. You know what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, actually, I just want to thank this workshop, the organizers. And like you are saying, we are new in the division, but it has enlightened us, and we have seen that we are one. This workshop has made us see that we are one unit working for a common goal, and it has really motivated us. And I just want to add that the workshop has made us realize that we are not just going home for this festive season and coming back for the new semester, but we are coming back to achieve our goals, to work for the university, to work for the division, and coming up with tangible goals, with tangible experiences, and with tangible, I can say in Shona, especially we are working, we are here for the students, for those students to come up with achievable goals. So I want to thank the workshop and the division, and especially with the teams. This has really motivated us towards our working, and we are going to come back as new people, but with a vision to work for the university. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean, for this workshop. My request is about the orientation thing. If you could really make it like everyone should attend for orientation, every student, because we are facing as janitors, and speaking as janitors, we are facing a lot of problems. A lot of students who doesn't attend the orientation, they won't know how to go about at university, how to present their issues, how the protocols, they don't know how to follow protocols. Like you hear an issue coming straight from the security, yet you are in the office, you don't know about it. I'm supposed to know the issue first in the office, then I report to the warden, then maybe it's supposed to come even via to the office. But to hear that issue coming straight from the security, it's really a cause for concern. We really need our students to go for orientation. If you could push so that every student must attend orientation, I think it would save us a great deal. Thank you.
Good point. I think those issues are noted, very important. But also just to note that sometimes when we go for orientation, we are still offering student places. And those that would also not have been, those that would have been offered places, sometimes, they just choose to back off. But our numbers have been increasing over the years. If you have attended the orientation program, I'm sure you will appreciate we continue to have more and more and more, but that's a very important point. We take note of that. Yes, ladies.
Thank you, Dean. I'm very pleased with what you've done for us. We really appreciate it. Okay. I'm thanking Dean for what he has arranged for us. I'm actually encouraging you to do even better tomorrow. I also want to raise the issue. You are not perfectly this gathering is actually because you are one family. You are talking of oneness. You are a family together. So in whatever we are doing, we must complement each other because we are the same family. We are offering the same product. So when you are offering a product, it is a process. So in a process, you cannot jump. You cannot jump one process in order to produce a perfect product. My contribution is towards the listening sister's contribution. She actually said they have a policy, maybe it's in tandem with privacy and confidentiality. They would not allow staff to visit the students' only. I wanted to maybe to appeal to them, maybe to relax that policy. Because there are certain things which we cannot hide under the umbrella of privacy. Because they will eventually manifest themselves. Take example in students, there are certain conditions. Yes, take example, there are certain conditions which will eventually manifest. I'm working with the student. I'm not aware of that. But you find those things manifesting themselves. When the first port of call, the student they will rush to you. They will say, come see what the student doing. But you see, I'm in the dark, I look so confused in front of the student. But you go to the clinic, sometimes you hear that they are very much aware of the condition. But if they could relax that, we share certain information that will be all part so that we offer a perfect product. Thank you.
Okay. I think that's an issue that we need to continue to interrogate. I want to believe that was raised in the context of confidentiality. I recall at one time asking the chief nursing sister and the staff clinic to really run workshops for all of us, including aspects of customer care and confidentiality. Because I've encountered situations where sometimes you are sitting as colleagues and someone says, do you know that student has got that condition? Do you know that student has got that condition? That is totally unacceptable. Because you're compromising the student's confidentiality. But where maybe the warden, as the father, the mother, the mentor, giving oversight to the student who probably is on a certain medication that has to be taken religiously, the chief nursing sister or health officer can actually, in confidence, not so that that information is, shared across the board, but for purposes of helping the student. And I think these are issues that we need to continue to interrogate, see how best we can share information at the same time without compromising confidentiality. We have 3 minutes, and I see more hands are still up. And yes, Kari. This is one of the things that I've always yearned for. I want to know each and every one of you by name. At times when the senior warden comes and she says, so and so has got this issue, there's a sickness or there's a bereavement. And I say, who is that? I know my Mosores, I know my, my Kaharis, but there are others that you say, apart from God, who else? The more we interact, the more we know each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in the case of any emergency, any issues, my issues, You know with obsession we because of the domestic. And those their character and those other issues that can be his likes and dislikes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, not in the diminution. Tadzidza zvakawanda. Asi chikumbiro changu changa chiri chekuti zvatadzidza zvise zvere saka hari andigona kuzvibata nemusoro. Tati chikumbiro kuti kana zvichibvira paevery hostel tipewe macopies anotidzidzisa kuti tisvike mumagoals edu asagare kumaheads of department chete. Ichi janoita zvokuti kana waunoti wauda kurasika wakuita offside, you revisit that copy. Ndochikumbiro changu.
Important. Kana wakabula hapana kuita. You go through. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say what she has just said.
Ah, fantastic.
Because you mentioned something like charter and so on. So what is it? Charter road in town. So thank you so much just mentioned.
Yes, yeah. No, that's very important. So head of department, let's pass the information to the people. Yes, Mr. Gom. I wanted to exhaust the flow before I come to the head of department, so that you don't feel empty what the people want to say.
I'm sorry, nenda kuwa ya atakasoka sabawan asi ndakuta chini tini nafara kwa zini chinachongera chikundo changu chekuti sai kushaka kwa kwenda kana pa tini message ndine chizvo ndaka kunawo chibato maoko saka ndakasikizinya munogaraza chiona paslide ndaona kuti pane pamwe pokuti ndogapabatsirawo basa riri maoko basa iroro ndinokwanisa kuriprovhaida pavari through office vanhu vechikoro even master families for free kana ndichikwanisa kuzotengera through office mavana tikutanana kuone mona atauti yangu ndinofanira kuti vanenge vasina zvokuita vechikoro vasatambisa time yavo vasogumira kuenda chikoro chete time ngere ndechishanda saka chechipiri ndinotero vc omari when time
You have a contribution to make. In the student's office, any department, feel free. Any skills that you have, feel free. We are open to that. You know. And let's also not take for granted even his contribution. Appreciation to the executive for timelessly disbursing. There are universities that are in this season, in this time. They always get their salaries a month, sometimes 2 months behind. But we get our salaries on time. So, you know, it's something that we don't want to take for granted. You know, there are times when your executive goes an extra mile and you take it for granted, you think things are normal and they're okay out there. So when it's coming from the people and they're saying, we appreciate you, I think it also energizes them as the executive. And I think they deserve a power. I see we have 1 minute. Yes.
My problem, deputies were very busy working on better strategies for 2018. Among my departments at National House of Presidents. Are they aware of our strategy? How best are we going to sell this strategy to them? Because among my services, I got some tissues we are buying. So we know consider confusion. You know, what ways? Even if I'm that or some way that it's going to be a week one and good to think. At least, bad image among my departments.
That's good. I think that's a very good point. And I am so excited that HR is here. But I think just to comment on that, there is what we call SOP, Standard Operating Procedures. There are standard operating procedures that feed into each other. where you are getting services from works, where you're getting services from DAX, how do you, because you distribute, you know. So the head of department, your head of department, and the head of the unit responsible, or assistant director responsible for hygienic services, migrate where I want to believe. Where there is dovetailing of SOP, they agree, so that there is a smooth, you know, provision of services. They feed into each other, so that our services are not compromised. I saw this when we were hosting delegates last week. Delegates checked in, and there were no issues. Yeah. You have done your homework, you have planned, you have put your things in order, but on the other side, your colleagues have not done their part. So these are things that we need to capture, and yeah. Just quick points. I saw Mem, and Mem, your hands were up. Just quickly so that we close the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Dean. Maybe please allow me to thank other heads of sections, because student residential services receives services from other departments. If you want to sporting facilities, we go to Mr. Generi. So I want to thank all these, the clinic and the chaplains. They offer service mostly on time. But I think our nurse at night is overwhelmed. You call her times, she will be in Parinyatwa, because we are looking at 900 something students in complexes, per each complex. At times they get sick at once, many of them. Then when you call her, she will be in Parinyatwa most of the time. I don't know what can be done so that the nurse is assisted, especially at night. Then another thing, I would like to thank the student residential services department. We are a very big department. I think by now Mugademane is reports coming from all over, but we work as a team, very cooperative, and we are a team, a good team, a very vibrant team. Thank you.
Thank you. If there were two deans, residence dean or works overnight and day dean, I would want to be a day dean. That's a very important point that you mentioned, the issue of overwhelming. But I think again the ball really is in our hearts. The VCs has said, I am ready to give you, number one, more staff in the clinic. I'm ready to give you an additional resident nurse, but all I want are statistics that justify that. So the task is really in our hearts. It's not like the executive is frustrating us. Justify the need. How many people do you take to the hospital at night? How many people are you serving on a day? That justifies the numbers. What are your standards? Let's look at the staff client ratios which justify the need for extra personnel in the context of recruitment embargo and shortages of resources that we have. But there's willingness to support us. But all we need to do is just to provide the relevant statistics. But that's not it. And I'm sure the chief nursing system is working on that. Engagement quickly, briefly, so that we close.
Okay, thank you. I've noted that many departments have mentioned about health issues. They are in passion with the health, and from the definition, it's a physical, spiritual aspect. But my suggestion may be, if we are implementing a health program, well, let's work together so that we have effective use of resources. Whereby I've heard some people, they've hired doctors and implemented some programs which we are not aware. We are there to complement it. At the end of the day, we need to consolidate our reports so that it makes impact. Let's work together. Many departments I've heard them talking about awareness campaigns, all the issues. Let's work together. That's my suggestion, so that it's coordinated and we complement each other. Then coming to, if I can comment to the issue of privacy and confidentiality. Every practitioner knows that there is shared confidentiality as we give services. but sometimes it all depends on the issue. Like for TB cases I've shared with some other genders and wanted to say so and so have got a sputum positive and that might spread. But when we are writing reports, we don't disclose somebody's diagnosis. Even with my colleagues, the counselor there, she can be my witness when she does a testing and somebody is positive. It's okay. And they've got the right even to choose to say, I cannot be attended by this sister, I wish to be attended by this service provider. As long as our client is comfortable with that. There's shared confidentiality, but we cannot share with anyone. Even when I'm writing a report to the team for him to know, I just write to anyone to say, this student cannot attend lectures, or can you provide this because of the illness? This, the package is like this, but we don't share the diagnosis and so on. It might be simple, but the issue of stigma and discrimination.
Okay, I'm just being reminded by the Director of Information that we have run out of our time. As we come to the close, let's put our hands together for MC, our presenters, our HR representative, our multimedia team, our journalists, thank you so much. And most importantly, yourself for attending and coming. The end of our program. Now what we're going to do is to go outside, we'll get to the flag, we will go for a group photo, and after the group photo, lunch will be served at 12:30.